What's up, everyone? It's Roger and Abe here, fans of DisKingdom podcast, and we're joined on this episode by Travis Day in snowy New York City.
I can't wait to snow. It's freaking July.
It's Independence Day. It's snowing.
It's sunny over here in California at 12:15 a.m. So come on.
It's fine. It's wet and miserable here. So let's jump into today's news. So we're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy coming, possibly rumored, coming to Epcot or in Walt Disney World. I think there's been lots of rumors circling around that either the Mission Space attraction or possibly the Universe of Energy attraction are either going to be given an overlay or completely demolished. I think more so overlay for Mission Space, but a complete destruction of the Universe of Energy. Sorry?
Don't get rid of Mission Space. Yeah, do Universe of Energy.
Well, that's apparently might be getting an update, but apparently the Guardians of the Galaxy could be coming to Hollywood Studios, which opens up a whole can of worms on about 5 different fronts. So first off, what's your initial reaction to this? So we'll kick off with Abe first.
Well, first off, before you Floridians freak out about your Tower of Terror, don't worry, yours is fine. Ours in California is at risk of being taken over by Guardians of the Galaxy. But anyways, my reaction is awesome. Finally, some more Guardians of the Galaxy content being put out in the theme parks. And then my second reaction is like, wait, aren't they going to get sued? Aren't you, isn't Orlando, Florida, or anywhere out there not allowed to have Marvel characters? Isn't that just the competitor, my company? Aren't they the ones that are able to use Marvel over there? Thank you very much. Travis, please explain this to me.
Okay, well, here's the thing. When the deal for the characters for Marvel were made with Universal, they were not made for every Marvel character. They were made for what you currently see in Universal parks. And the Universal theme, Islands of Adventure, they have to keep those characters prominent as far as meet and greets, rides, signage and stuff like that, or they'll revert back to the owner if they're not being utilized. That being said, Guardians was never part of the original deal with Universal. Therefore, Guardians and actually certain incarnations of the Avengers, as far as the movies, are up for grabs. Whether Disney decides to utilize them or not, that's their choice. Actually, the Guardians, Gamora, and Star-Lord had actually appeared in Disney Hollywood Studios in meet and greets prior to this. So Guardians will definitely be utilized. The only thing from the Avengers side of it was there was a monorail overlay for one of the movies, but they didn't have any of the characters in the thing.
And the thing is, I think what they will do is they won't be allowed to say Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. They can say Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a bit like the superhero shop in Disney Springs. They can't as part of the contract, because they'd find a version of it. They are not allowed to advertise Marvel. They're not allowed to mention Marvel. They can't. But if they advertise it as Guardians of the Galaxy, whenever they have like a Vinylmation or a pin release with event, it's always superheroes. They never mention the word Marvel. And I'm wondering if Guardians of the Galaxy could get around that with never mentioning Marvel. I think it's basically it might be a legal loophole on this one.
That's interesting. And so, what they're replacing to do, what is this? Is this going to be a new ride? And what building do you think it'll be taken over? Hopefully not Mission Space.
Well, Mission Space was rumor number one. Well, there's been 3 rumors, hasn't there? There was Tower of Terror was one. That's the one rumor that's kind of seems to be going out to LA. The Hollywood studio ones doesn't seem to be getting it. But that might be why, because they're thinking Epcot, either Mission Space will be getting an overlay for Guardians of the Galaxy, which could work, or alternatively, the rumor is that the Universe of Energy will be demolished and something will go there. Now, I know me and Trevor's got 2 different views. For me, Universe of Energy is basically where you go to have a nap. It's a 40-minute attraction based on something back in with a TV sitcom person that basically hasn't. I'm going to be honest, Ellen really hasn't been that big over here for us. since the TV show ended about 15, 20 years ago. Her
TV show
what was
keeps
it?
going on here. What are you
Her
talking?
our talk show only started here about a few weeks ago. That's what it's literally. It's from my point of view, from my thing, Ellen hasn't really done anything for years because she's not been on our TV screen. So I'm going to be honest. For me, it doesn't. She hasn't really been that relevant. But obviously, I know in America she has the big show and she's huge over there. So there is that little bit of difference. But I was just meaning for me. But that universe of energy is a massive space. It's old, it's knackered, it looks really, it's been around for way too long, and it's knock it down.
Hold on.
I'm just gonna say,
I need to stop you there. You said both of you and Travis have a different view, and you're describing it as a place to nap, and you want them to knock it down. Travis, please explain what you do.
Okay. My difference in opinion is, I will agree, it needs an update. It's a dated attraction. Ellen's part is dated. At this time, it is the only original attraction to Epcot. World of Motion, gone. Horizons, gone. What we knew of Imagination, gone. What we knew of the Living Seas, gone. I guess Spaceship Earth is still there, too. But aside from Spaceship Earth, the only one outside of the Future World, inside of Future World, is Universe of Energy. I would appreciate it to be updated with either a new pre-story and a new something. Because I really like those dinosaur animatronics, and this is a direct. It originally came from the mind of Walt Disney back in the World's Fair. Some of his concepts from the World's Fair came to the Universe of Energy eventually. So I don't want to see it go. It's literally one of the last remnants of the Epcot that I knew as a child. So I do agree it needs an update. I just don't want it to get destroyed.
I just want the place flattened.
Did they have churros and Dole Whip when you were a child in Epcot at all, or anything like that?
Churros and Dole Whip are not at Epcot, and they've never been at Epcot.
They never have sold those? Wow, really? You guys need to utilize your market. We sell churros and Dole Whip everywhere we can. Anyways.
Okay. Dole Whip was only Magic Kingdom for the longest time, sir. It's only been recently that they put him in different places. But
I think
you can actually get Dole Whip during the special events.
My point is fine. We'll stick to churros. If that was your childhood, it's still around. So just deal with it.
See, I just feel this because I know there's this. I think there's this thing with all of the any time something in the park is moved, there's always this like nostalgic voice going, "Don't touch it. Leave it as it is." Because I think in some ways, everyone just wants them to keep adding on the outside. Keep the original attraction and build another attraction. Keep them both. I think that's kind of how most people would love parks to grow. Is just would keep your old attraction and you add another attraction on some other space. But it's that it's like Frozen, for example, in Epcot. I'm going to be honest. I think Epcot needs a massive rocket in there to kind of update it, because the whole park is just falling behind. There's, as much as I know there's a lot of hate about the fact of it's gone so far from its original intention. It's a theme park. I know everyone wants to make it into something sometimes it's a little bit not, but at the end of the day, it's just another theme park for Disney, and it makes sense to those attractions in Future World is such a waste now. There's such a barren other than Test Track, and even the Finding Nemo attraction is pretty, and I mean obviously they've just done up Soaring, but there's so much space just being underutilized there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you as far as the nostalgia, and some people want to see some of that remain and whatnot. But the truth is, things get dated, and they either need to be updated or they need to be torn down and put something new. And like people complaining about the Rivers of America out here in Disneyland, how it's being made shorter so they can make room for Star Wars Land, and it's like they're removing a lot of great pieces from the river. And in all honesty, go for it. How often do you enjoy that freaking burning cottage that hasn't been burning for years? You know what I mean? It's like let's just go ahead and tear it down and put, X-Wings chilling out in Millennium Falcon. I'm fine with that. But as far as, Guardians of the Galaxy going to Epcot, that's awesome. You finally start to see real, legit, awesome Marvel content going into parks aside from just meet and greets. And not to mention Florida, you know what I mean? Like, that's something that the contracts have been such a big, issue with, that at least you can get around doing Guardians of the Galaxy, And in fact, honestly, I rather have a dated attraction replaced than an awesome attraction like the one we have out here, which is Tower of Terror. And I get it. Like, the inside, it could totally work for Guardians of the Galaxy, but what are they going to do with the building? It makes no sense. We have this giant, old school 1930s, 40s Hollywood hotel, and yet it's now going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. It makes no sense. You have a dated attraction over there. I think that works perfectly fine. Mission Space is beautiful from the outside. I can see how it could work with Guardians of the Galaxy because they're out in the galaxy and whatnot, but that's also a pretty good ride. You don't need to replace it with...
The only thing that might be why that is there's rumors that the Tron Cycle roller coaster might go to Epcot. So that would be why. So there's been lots of different rumors that Epcot is basically...
It's not even that
good. I think because they spent all that money on development.
People need to like take the virtual ride on YouTube and see that it's not a big deal. The Pirates ride, however, that is amazing. But the Tron Cycle, no. But anyways, Guardians of the Galaxy going to Epcot would be awesome, or going somewhere in Florida. I don't know, awesomeness. I'm totally for it. I hope the Disney lawyers find out more Marvel characters that they can use without using the word Marvel that people will recognize. Squirrel Girl, yeah, but people were getting like, what? But anyways,
I will admit that even though I have my trepidations, it's probably gonna happen if it's in the works. I was all for the Maelstrom update with Frozen because Maelstrom was really outdated, and I know that Universe of Energy is outdated and it needs to get replaced. I'm just hoping that they finally put a coaster in Epcot. If they're gonna do this, why not make a coaster? To hell with Future World. Okay, make a coaster. It's futuristic, right? We'll do it. So.
Yeah. But we'd love to know what you guys think. What do you guys think of all these like rumors whizzing around about Epcot? I think it's always this kind of thing. I think with the big Pandora coming to Animal Kingdom, you've got Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land coming to Hollywood Studios. You've just had Fantasyland. I think everyone is looking towards Epcot, going something is coming, something is going to be announced. But it could be years off. But they're saying that it definitely feels like Epcot needs some money spent on it, and there's been demolishing everywhere else, so it makes sense to start spending some money there.
Yeah, like put Dole and churros into Epcot. Just, I don't know why it's not there. I also think Ratatouille would be a perfect attraction to bring to Epcot for France. But I think like the trouble is, I think with Epcot is they've been closing down so many. It's like the pavilions that they use for like the food and wine and stuff. It's just like you walk in there and it's just a shell. It's just in like innovations has just become a meet and greet area. It's like you say, you go in there from when you have these huge buildings and huge space, and they're just not utilizing them very well. Yeah,
the one issue you would have with expanding certain parts of Future World is working with those countries, because they do have a stake in that country. The reason that the Norway one didn't matter because Norway was no longer sponsoring their country pavilion, so it was all on Disney, so they could make the decision to do what they wanted with that pavilion.
I'm sure they can build as much stuff in England as possible. You can build as much stuff in England as possible in that area because
they can't.
Paying for it.
No. That's not true. They can't. They're no longer. In fact, I heard that England pulled out of Epcot, so they, unfortunately, will no longer exist there anymore.
Well, yeah, Scotland.
They're going to build.
Scotland's going to break off and have their own little country.
Yeah, well, we've already gone over to Universal and built a fantastic new real-life representation of the UK over there now. We've got a dragon
so
on the bank. We've got...
Yes.
It's more realistic than Epcot, I'm going to be honest.
And I
Epcot-
love that you guys make beer with your butter. I love that. It's so.
It's just the fact that like Epcot, I've got to be honest, it's like going back to 1950s or 1962 when you walk into that Epcot. It's like they still think we're only playing with Paddington Bear and Winnie the Pooh, and the Beatles are playing outside. They're selling ridiculously priced fish and chips.
You're telling me that you're not playing with the Paddington Bear anymore?
No.
That's news to me.
No.
That's completely news to me.
It's like red telephone boxes. We haven't had them for 20 plus years. They got.
That's not
went
true.
blue.
That is a lie. I've walked down UK Street at Universal, and there's a red telephone. Thank you very much. In fact, every movie that has, and it's like a spy movie that has Britain, there's always a red telephone in the movie. So stop lying to me.
What about the blue telephone boxes? Are they still there?
Yeah. No, they only tend to.
Or the police boxes.
There's only one that's kind of. You see it every now and again, and it disappears.
You know why? It's probably because that's the gateway to the Ministry of Magic. You know, that's the way to get there. So it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You guys and your magic, I swear.
And they're very, very busy. There's a lot of infighting between who's in charge and all the rest of it at the minute.
See, I'm afraid to use the loo over there because I'm afraid I'm going to flush into the Ministry of Magic as well. So forget that.
I'm never going to walk into a fire over there ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around the Ministry of what is floating around down there.
Speaking of
but on that note,
goodbye, Prime Minister.
Adios. Jolly good. He's off to live with now. Yeah. So on that note, we are going to say thank you very much for watching. Big thank you to Ethan over at sortedapps.com and Magic Band Collectors for being on this being a Patreon. And again, check us out at DisKingdom.com. Big thank you to Travis for joining us, getting up really nice and early to join us in that snowy, cold, icy little place that's New York City.
It's like 90 degrees on July 4th, dude.
Yeah.
And then a big thank you for for joining me as usual, and a big thank you for taking part in these podcasts over the last year or so.
I've had a lot of fun and enjoyed the Abezik. Does that work? No, Abezik. No, whatever. I'm leaving later.
So we're going to be back soon with a new kind of. I'm going to be trying out some different formats, bringing some different people in from the DisKingdom team. We're going to try out some different ideas. So as per usual, we shall see you guys in a later episode. Laters.